For the duration of our lives, there are numerous things that we see to be valid, yet not many that really are valid. I may decide to accept that there is someone else out there precisely equivalent to me. However, the study of hereditary qualities reveals to me something else. The quest for truth is a particularly human encounter. Creatures are glad to live at the time and take the path of least resistance. While we look to the stars, consider how they move the distance away they are in our own part in this astronomical dance. Truth is a word that can get abused in this day and age. The ramifications being that numerous individuals are not honest. What I am worried about in this article isn't if somebody was coming clean, however general realities that support our reality. I need to investigate and develop a few unavoidable issues facing everyone that apply to us all. They may apply contrastingly relying upon where you reside, how rich you are, or what work you hold, yet they apply in any case. It's imperative to consider these focuses occasionally. Experiencing existence with signals on is a surefire formula to stall out and wail over your part later on when you're more seasoned and things continue as before. You can imagine these realities don't exist. However, the more you do, the additional time you'll squander combating against the tide when you could be chipping away at yourself, all things considered. Your well-being is everything. On the off chance that living through a pandemic has encouraged me anything, it's that caring for your body ought to be one of your first concerns. Well-being is significant. We belittle how essential our life is until it's past the point of no return. I have missed going to the exercise center during lockdown. While I have a bunch of loads at home, it's not equivalent to approaching an exercise center. It's simpler to be languid when you're at home, particularly when there is a destructive infection going around. At the point when you're solid and fit as a fiddle, you can accomplish such a great deal. Without it, you'll long for the days when you did. You either focus on your well-being or it turns into a need. You just control your reaction. The majority of what we find on the planet is outside of your control. There is almost no that we can handle. I can't handle what government officials say or do, yet I can handle how I react. A considerable lot of the issues that we experience the ill effects of are because of our craving to control stuff. Rather than longing to control everything, we should accept the way that we control practically nothing. At the point when you understand that there is minimal that you can bring under your influence, you'll begin to get more joyful. You'll feel less burdened and depleted thus. I can decide to be shocked, or I can direct my anxiety in a more significant way. Your personal satisfaction will be greatly improved once you embrace this way of thinking. Life is short. I desire to live for some time yet. However, as the years pass ever quicker, I understand that life is short. 20s passed by abruptly. I accomplished more in those years than I ever suspected I would. I lived in 3 unique nations, gone to another 40, set up a blog that has become my regular work, and worked in an assortment of enterprises. I've packed more into those 10 years than certain individuals do in a lifetime. The more seasoned I have and the quicker the years pass by, the more I understand how short life is. The stunt that life plays on you is to make you believe it's long enough to keep going forever, yet short enough to leave you wishing you had additional time. That is the reason you should hold onto the day and do what you need today. No preferable time exists over at this point. What's to come isn't ensured, and things can and will change, as we've seen with the coronavirus. At the point when you're old, you would prefer not to think back on your existence with lament. Live in the information that your opportunity will reach a conclusion one day and you'll have a significantly more satisfying life. There's nobody meaning of accomplishment. For certain individuals, achievement is a major house, an extravagant vehicle, and an excellent spouse. For other people, it's a long period of work on an issue that is near their heart. We may hold up any semblance of Bill Gates and Elon Musk as triumphs, and they are. Yet, numerous unheralded individuals have been similarly as fruitful in their own right. The collection of abundance and material products isn't the solitary meaning of accomplishment. Being effective comes in various structures. It will mean something to one individual and another thing to another. Try not to be characterized by another person's meaning of progress. Sort out how it affects you and follow it. The absolute best individuals on earth are those we haven't knew about. Because they don't have millions in the bank or countless adherents via online media doesn't mean they're disappointments. Choose what's critical to you and endeavor to turn into a triumph at it. Life is an opposition, not with others, but rather yourself. When you separate yourself from a futile daily existence, you'll be a lot more joyful. Contrasts are what make life intriguing. In a world that is more enraptured than any other time in recent memory, it appears as though change is terrible. However, it's these distinctions that make everyday routine worth experiencing and fascinating. Without them, it would be a dull spot. Envision if everybody thought the equivalent, appeared to be identical, talked the equivalent. What an exhausting world it would be. Simply envisioning that everybody thought similar route as me and had similar tastes makes me shudder. This is something that heading out has pounded home to me. Regardless of how prevalent somebody thinks their country or culture is, it's definitely not. Living in Australia, I felt like they had their equilibrium between fun and serious stuff right contrasted with the UK. Be that as it may, I missed the exchange and kinship you get back in the UK. Each spot and individuals have their upsides and downsides. That is the thing that makes the world incredible. It's a petri dish of various individuals, societies and dialects. Attempting to homogenize them all and proclaim one better than different overlooks what's really important. We are advanced by our contact with one another. It's these distinctions that lead to advancement as we as a whole gain from one another. Bliss is an excursion, not an objective. I used to believe that I'd end up glad one day because of my activities. It was exclusively in the wake of doing numerous travels that I understood I delighted in the excursion more than the objective. The equivalent applies to joy, the excursion satisfies you. On the off chance that you create interests and attempts that you appreciate, you'll get yourself more joyful than you would when you show up at one fixed point. The mystery of the present circumstance is that pursuing joy will lead you to become unhappier. It's a slip-up to think you'll arrive at a fixed point later on and you'll be glad once you arrive. Satisfaction is an interaction. You're not going to awaken one day and abruptly become upbeat. It will occur as the aftereffect of a development of little choices that snowball over the long haul. Quit pursuing satisfaction and at last, it will come to you. You're continually advancing. Individuals change, for more regrettable or for better as they get more seasoned. It's an unavoidable truth. In case you're as yet a similar individual you were the point at which you left secondary school, you've deteriorated. 5 years prior, I moved to Barcelona to instruct English. In those days, I talked no Spanish and had little thought regarding the country or language. Following half a month in the city, I understood that promptness was not ordinary. Being English, I scorn being late for anything. The possibility of appearing a moment or two late makes me apprehensive. However, here I was in a country where it seemed like everybody worked to their own time. As the year wore on, I wound up receiving similar propensities. I was less disposed to stress over being late. I was more liberal in getting to some place on schedule. Indeed, even now, I don't have this should be on time constantly. It's only one illustration of how I've changed throughout the long term. We don't understand however we are changing constantly. Perusing more books has encouraged me build up my reasoning and impacted the way I live. The issue is in case you're not advancing. In case you're actually stayed with a similar idea design you had years back, on the off chance that you haven't propelled yourself out of your usual range of familiarity, your life will deteriorate. It's critical to focus on learning and improvement. People are not intended to continue as before always, we're intended to develop and better ourselves. You are one of a kind. There won't ever be someone else like you, ever. I locate that an astonishing idea. This allows you to offer your assessment on how you see the world. It's not difficult to feel that all the main experiences in life have just been made, however that is a paradox. Envision if Charles Darwin had not addressed what he saw during his journeys on HMS Beagle. Or on the other hand if Albert Einstein didn't question the instincts he had about physical science. Because it would seem that there is the same old thing to add doesn't mean there is. The historical backdrop of humankind shows that thoughts travel every which way, supplanted by new ones over the long haul. This is the place where you come in. Whatever your considerations, they may not seem like a lot, yet to other people, they could be a disclosure. They could help somebody the world in an alternate manner. Everybody has something to bring to the table, everybody has a knowledge that could demonstrate useful. Utilize your uniqueness for your potential benefit. Embrace it. A great many people don't have any acquaintance with you exist. This is a lowering idea. Except if you're very popular, most of individuals alive today, and those later on, don't you exist or existed. While this sounds grim, the inverse is valid. It grounds and lowers us. We understand that we are not the focal point of the universe, regardless of whether a few of us think we are. With 7 billion individuals on the planet, except if you're a megastar, you will be a dark figure. Be that as it may, does this matter? On the off chance that you have the adoration for your dear loved ones, do you need the acknowledgement of others? We would all be able to get somewhat grandiose now and again, yet it's fundamental to recall that occasionally you can get high on your pretentiousness. Numerous individuals in the past will have done likewise. What number of their lives would we say we know about today? One day we will be failed to remember, as our memory becomes dull of view. Understanding that we are nevertheless one chain in the connection of humankind will keep our feet on the ground and prevent us from daydreams of magnificence that can happen to any of us. Life is extraordinary. Notwithstanding all the issues on the planet, we are honored to be alive. We live in a delightful world with a ton of lovely individuals. The trees, the ocean, the air, the sky, the entirety of this is stuff we underestimate, yet it's what makes our reality a particularly incredible spot to live. The coronavirus has been an unmistakable token of the world we live in. That our appearing authority over nature and every one of its viewpoints are a dream. Nonetheless, what's emerged from this is a more noteworthy appreciation for one another and the world we live in. Life may feel like a battle on occasion, it might feel like it's not worth living, but rather what's the other option? Hardships may get us down, however we can put them right, to thrive. At whatever point you feel down, advise yourselves that life is a blessing and one that we should embrace and take advantage of.